Yo, what's up guys? Teacher Paul over here, and today we have a coffee request by Whiplash. If you want to request a video, click over here or go on to buy me coffee. Link is in the description, and thank you so much for your support. Whiplash requested a video about sports, and Whiplash says, sport is huge in Norway. It's a huge part of Norwegian culture, and most children grow up with doing both winter and summer sports. It is part of our culture to be fit, and even though we are a small country with poor condition for athletes, we have produced world stars. My favorite is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Solskjaer. Humble, shy, and a true Norwegian. Okay, let's check it out. Don't forget, guys, to like and subscribe. This video is from a channel called Football Iconic. So let's see. How good was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a player? That's the name of the video. Oh, I know him. He played for Manchester. Is it? Or Arsenal? Manchester United.
When you picture an assassin in your mind, what do you see? If
Jeffrey
you went out
Dahmer.
to random people on the street and posed that same question, the answers you get might vary somewhat. However, if you ask the same question to a Premier League goalkeeper in the late 90s that just saw this guy come off the bench, you might get a more specific answer.
Solskjaer.
If you haven't guessed by now, the answer that I'm referring to is none other than the one and only baby-faced assassin, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Seeing that he's not only a Manchester United legend, but he's also currently at the wheel, I thought it would be fun and completely necessary to take a deeper look into what made him so special and earned him legendary status amongst the Old Trafford faithful.
And today you have Haaland, isn't it?
That being said, how good was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a player?
I used to support Manchester United back in the day.
What's up everyone? I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Strap in, because today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the early life as well as the career of probably the most famous PE teacher in all of Europe.
PE teacher?
I wanted to say the world, but I honestly don't know enough about the global PE teacher scene to make that kind of claim with confidence. Anyway, if you've always wondered why United fans love this man so much, be sure to stick around until the end of the video to get the full story. Also,
depends on what you're talking about, because I think Hugh Jackman is also a PE teacher.
So if you like the content, please feel free to leave a like and perhaps even subscribe if you haven't. It really helps the channel out and I would appreciate it. However, if you
Go
dislike
check out
the
the
content,
channel.
be sure to hit the dislike button twice.
No, don't
just
do
to
that.
be sure, and also leave a comment below telling me why. Also, just a small disclaimer, seeing as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is of Norwegian descent, I'm going to try my utmost to pronounce every Norwegian word in this video to the best of my abilities. But apologies in advance to the people of Norway if and likely when I butcher a few pronunciations. You've been warned. Alright, that's enough fluff. Let's get right into it. Born in 1973, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was born as the son of Eyvind and Britta Solskjaer. So here's a fun fact. His father was a very successful wrestler in the 60s, so athleticism definitely runs in the family. Unsurprisingly, his old man wanted him to follow in his footsteps and become a wrestler, but it just wasn't for him. The main problem was that Ole was just
wrestling big in Norway?
Be thrown around quite a lot. Unfortunately, it just wasn't meant to be. But just imagine for a second. In a parallel universe, we could have gotten Macho Man Ole. I'm gonna leave you all for a second just to ponder the possibilities. Anyway, he took up football from a very young age and joined the Norwegian Youth Academy at 7 years old. Although this is common knowledge, it may surprise some of you to know that Solskjaer was actually a Liverpool fan growing up. But if you're a United fan, nobody would blame you if you conveniently chose to forget that fact. Moving along, he went on to spend 10 years in the Norwegian Youth Academy, where he mostly developed in the striker position. During this time, he was slowly honing his skills and nurturing that killer instincts that we all grew to know later in his career. Even from a young age, he was technical, really quick, and had a very good shot on him. The only issue was something that I've already mentioned. He was still too small. Therefore, even when it...
The narrator, if you're watching this for some reason, seems like he has a South African accent. I might be wrong though.
Came to football, Ole was being pushed around quite a lot. By his own account, he was an incredibly late bloomer and only grew into his body in his early 20s. However, as soon as that happened, everyone began to truly recognize how much of a talent he really was. He made his senior debut in the Clausen Engine first team at 17 years of age in 1990. At the time of his debut, the club were in the 4th division of Norwegian football. Although they did achieve promotion during his 5-year stay at the club, it was clear that he was playing far below his level. Before he left them, during his time there, he scored 115 goals in 109 games.
Dang!
Fast forward to 1994,
that's one goal per game plus a few.
At 21 years of age.
Plus
Being
6.
a club in the Tippeligaen, the 1st division of Norwegian football, this seemed like a natural step forward. But I mean, not much changed. He continued to improve and scored more and more goals. His quick feet and reaction time were amongst the most impressive of his characteristics. After spending 2 years at Molde, he scored 42 goals in 54 matches in all competitions.
I was gonna ask, how good is Norwegian football? And then I remembered 1998.
So here's where we currently stand. The year is 1996, and it's clear to Åge Hareide, the Molde coach at the time, that Solskjaer was eventually going to leave. He was simply just too good. Being a former Manchester City player himself, Hareide informed them of the talent that Solskjaer possessed in an attempt to get him on their radar. However, they showed no interest. He did the same with Everton, and similarly, no deal. Both teams were unwilling to roll the dice
still talking about the goal.
Essentially a completely unknown player from one of the weaker leagues in Europe, relatively speaking. Completely understandable, of course. On the other hand, Manchester United were in the middle of an uphill battle with Blackburn Rovers as they were unsuccessfully attempting to sign Alan Shearer from them. For a number of reasons, this deal didn't go through. As a side note, if you're interested in why, I've actually recently posted a video on Alan Shearer on my channel documenting what happened here. I mean, do with that information what you will. Anyway, back to Solskjaer. Although he wasn't their first choice, United had actually already been scouting him, and when all hope was lost on the Shearer front, they came in for the Norwegian, signing him for £1.5 million at the beginning of the 1996-97 season. Now, to give a little context as to what was going on at Old Trafford at this point in time, the team was pretty much built around Eric Cantona at the time that Solskjaer arrived. In addition to that, United also had another elite striker in the form of Andy Cole. Therefore, when it came to expectations, they were pretty much non-existent at the beginning. Realistically, Solskjaer was only meant to be backup to Cole and Cantona. Further to that, Sir Alex Ferguson even intended for him to play with the reserves for the first 6 months of his time in United to get used to the English game. However,
he has an AF.
One man's injury can...
Wait a second, I just noticed Sir Alex Ferguson had an AF on his shirt. It stands for good AF. Kidding. It stands for Alex Ferguson, obviously. But it's interesting to see an AF on his shirt. Anyways, I remember Solskjaer, especially, I don't know, I didn't recognize the way you write it, but now that he's saying Solskjaer all the time, I recognize his face, and now that he's saying Solskjaer, obviously, I just didn't realize that that's who he was talking about. So, and I also don't recognize KJ as a sh sound, but I shall.
However, how does that classic saying go? One man's injury can potentially make another man's career?
I shall with a KJ.
Okay, I might have made up that saying, but that's essentially what happened here. Andy Cole suffered a very nasty injury early on in the season. Yeah, I'm talking 2 broken legs. Not ideal in the slightest. As a result of this, Solskjaer was called up to the first team, and if at any point there were doubts about his ability to make the step up to English football, they were all surely gone when Solskjaer scored only 6 minutes into his debut for the club. In his first season for United, he played far more than anyone could have imagined, and firmly cemented himself as a top-class player. All in all, he made 33 appearances, scoring 18 goals in the process. He also picked up his first Premier League title. Not too bad for a future PE teacher. This season also saw the birth of the baby-faced assassin nickname courtesy of the British media, and it's not hard to see where the nickname came from. His ruthlessness in front of goal, speed, and fantastic positional awareness were amongst his key traits in England. These characteristics, amongst the many more, gained him critical acclaim across the footballing world. Despite this, his second season was much less eventful. The return to form of Andy Cole and the signing of Teddy Sheringham saw Solskjaer lose his goal-scoring form as well as his once solidified starting spot. Although he did make 22 appearances, 7 of them were from the bench. Adding on to that, he only scored 6 goals. You know, I was actually considering not covering this season at all in this video, but then I realized that I wouldn't be able to mention one of the most memorable moments in Solskjaer's entire career. Picture this: United and Arsenal are neck and neck at the top of the Premier League table with about 4 matches left to play in the season.
Okay.
At the run-in, United are matched up against an out-of-form Newcastle. Ideally, they needed a win
Out
to
of
stay in the
form
title
Newcastle.
race, and considering Newcastle's form, as well as the fact that Arsenal had 2 games in hand, nothing less was expected. Despite this, the game was stuck at 1-1, having played about 79 minutes. Naturally, in an attempt to tip the balance, Fergie decided to bring on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to do the business. In the dying minutes of the game, Newcastle's Rob Lee was through on goal and about to end United's title hopes altogether. However, this man right here, he had other ideas. He sprinted all the way across the field, clearly got the ball in this tackle and was unfairly sent off.
Clearly got the ball.
I'm joking. That was a horrendous tackle. But it undoubtedly did save United from losing the game. Despite this, Sir Alex Ferguson scolded Solskjaer for resorting to dirty tactics, and to add insult to injury, this sacrifice pretty much meant nothing, as Arsenal still ended up winning the league. With that being said, this act showed Ole's true colours. It revealed that he was a man willing to sacrifice himself for the benefit of the team. If there were any United fans unsure of his love and commitment to the club...
It's funny because nowadays the coaches actually tell them to do this, right? The coaches, this is actually a normal thing nowadays. To go and tackle somebody or jump in and grab the ball, like, you know, I don't know. Football nowadays isn't as it used to be. But you guys have Haaland now. Should react to Haaland
all
soon.
but gone at this point. Going into the 1998-99 season, United had just purchased Dwight Yorke from Aston Villa. This saw the birth of one of the greatest striking partnerships in the history of European football between Andy Cole and the newly signed Dwight Yorke. Unfortunately for Solskjaer, this very much limited his game time. He was forced to settle for yet another season mostly on the bench. Despite this very season, he established himself
happens
as
when
a
you have too
deadly
many
super
stars.
sub, scoring several goals in the late minutes of games. These included a winner against Liverpool in the FA Cup and 4 against Nottingham Forest in an 8-1 win. But none of these come close to probably the most important winning goal of his entire career in the 1999 Champions League final. You know which one I'm talking about. Yeah, that one. Now, we've all heard the story of what happened this night,
remember.
so I'm not going to bore you with any of the details.
I remember the
United won it with
shouting.
Solskjaer scoring the winning goal in the 93rd minute of extra time.
Solskjaer,
Iconic stuff, I know. Although, what I will say is that there was a point in this match where United were losing, and it looked as though they had an impossible mountain to climb if they wanted to taste glory. And, well, Ollie, what do we do when we're faced with mountains?
Mountains are there to be climbed, aren't they?
Very well put. I mean, I couldn't agree more. And also, thanks for
I
the
didn't
collab on
recognize
this
him
video.
older.
Really appreciate it. All the best for the season, man.
Thank you.
This Champions League win capped off a remarkable season where United went on to win an unprecedented treble. A Champions League, an FA Cup, and a Premier League, all in the same season. Although Solskjaer may not have played as much as he would have wanted to, he quite literally had the final say this season. Moving along, over the next few seasons, nothing much changed. United kept on winning, and unfortunately for Solskjaer, Cole and Yorke maintained their form, keeping him on the bench. That is, of course, until the 2001-2002 season. The decline of both Cole and Yorke, as well as the arrival of Ruud van Nistelrooy, saw Solskjaer once again become a starter. He also enjoyed one of his best goal-scoring seasons of his entire career this campaign, scoring 18 goals in 33 appearances. By the time the 2002-2003 season came along, Sir Alex Ferguson preferred to play Ruud van Nistelrooy up top with Paul Scholes as a supporting striker. This left no room for the Norwegian up front. However, Solskjaer made his claim to the right wing position after David Beckham was forced on the sideline due to injury. In fact, Solskjaer was so good in this position that he completely displaced Beckham even after he returned from injury. Although Beckham's absence was also due to another incident with Sir Alex Ferguson. Anyway, that's a story for another day. Unfortunately,
what happened?
From the
2003-2004
season onwards, Solskjaer's career truly entered its back end, although it was injury that spelled the end of his career rather than old age. I mean, I guess it was a combination of the two. Between 2003 and 2007, he struggled through a persistent knee injury as well as multiple knee surgeries. This, coupled with the fact that United massively bolstered their attack while he was on the sidelines, made it very difficult for him to ever find a way back.
Knee injuries took out all the greats.
Not many people are getting into the starting lineup when these guys are up and about. Due to the reasons above,
Rooney and
Solskjaer
Ronaldo
finally announced his retirement from football on the 27th of August 2007. He was 34 years of age at the time.
Oh man.
In closing, perhaps Solskjaer wasn't the best or most talented player to walk through the doors at Man United. As a forward, he scored 91 goals in 235 games games in the league and provided 37 assists. At the time of his retirement, he also held the Premier League record for most goals as a substitute, with 17 overall. In comparison to several other elite strikers that have entered the Prem over the years, admittedly, these figures aren't too eye-catching. However, what Solskjaer brought to the table was much more than stats. He was a consummate professional, a man devoted to the cause, and a player almost always seen with a smile on his face. And he was actually pretty good. I mean, let's not forget about that.
Yeah, he is pretty
Over
good.
his
You don't need to be the
illustrious
best to
career,
be
Ole Gunnar
good.
Solskjaer won a multitude of trophies and accolades, most notably 6 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, a Champions League, and most importantly, the hearts of millions. Too cheesy? Yeah, fair enough. And there we have it.
It's not cheesy, it's
How you all
Bruno's.
feel about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a player? How do you rate him overall? And do you think he deserves the legacy that he has amongst the United faithful? Feel free to leave your comments below. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate the support that you guys are showing on these videos. It means a lot more than you know. If you like the content, please feel free to leave a like and possibly even subscribe while you're at it, or don't. If you found the video informative, that's enough for me. Anyway, that's all from me. I hope you're all having an incredible day, and you'll have an incredible day further. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Okay, that was pretty cool. Man, I didn't know. Look, Solskjaer, it sounds like a British name, doesn't it? The Shire, Solskjaer. But in any case, growing up, I just watched football. I didn't know any history about football. I didn't know anything else. I just watched football and it was fun. It was nice. And I supported Man United in the beginning. And then I slowly shifted to Real Madrid because, let's face it, like Real Madrid had so many Brazilian players and I'm from Brazil. So I had to, you know, Roberto Carlos, come on. Ronaldo, come on. You know, Rivaldo, come on. What can I say? Anyways, it's not about Real Madrid. It's about Solskjaer here. And didn't know he was from Norway. Just finding out now. But thank you so much, Whiplash, for sending me this. I love sports videos as well. You know, I really do. The reason I don't do as much is because of copyright. But these type of informative videos, they don't really get copyright strikes. It's more of the highlights that get copyright strikes. So if you guys want to show me more sports, and if you want to see more reactions to sports, then feel free to do so. You know, link is in the description, so you can go and request a video just like Whiplash did, or click over here to go straight to it. And let me know more about Norwegian football. Go watch a playlist of football here. Take care now. Bye-bye.